I'm fine. I said I'm not hungry.
Where are you going?
To pee.
Want me to come with you? Sienna? No, go with your sister.
She's fine. She's fine.
Okay, wait. Get one of us kissing. She didn't get my good angle. Off.
What? You don't want me here?
Mom!
Say you couldn't have fun.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I lost my boat. Could you help?
Hey, what's that?
Okay, here we go. Smile. Say cheese. I worry about you. I worry about Anthony. I worry about Sienna.
Yeah, but you worry about me the most.
With you, it's different. Do you need to move back home? You get wrinkles. That's why I told you to lie on your back. Do you want to look like Zia? Thank you. Oh my God, what is in this?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and all belief systems, we have here with us today a very talented director, Luis De Filippis, and producer Julia Fox for a wonderful new film that's about to come out, Something You Said Last Night. And I want to start by saying that this movie really does understand the family dynamic. Luis, is there a little bit of yourself in this film?
Oh, I'm all over the film for sure. Yeah. Basically a love letter to my family who, have been my greatest champions and have loved me and supported me, but also, like every family does, like really do annoy me at the end of the day. That's what the film is all about.
Yeah, they definitely get irritating, and you can sense the irritation in Ren as she deals with her overbearing mother, her wonderful but carefree father, and her sister who just sort of wants to be free of all of it. That's what I take from it, at least.
Well, I just obviously fell in love with the movie as I think anybody would watching it. I think anybody, whether you can identify with the protagonist or not, can find something in it that they can relate to. We all have families. We all have, weird relationships with them. They all bring out things in us. And, overall, it's a kind of a universal story. And I just thought it was so beautifully told because even though I just feel like so much kind of unfolds in that movie where we open in the beginning and Ren is kind of like hesitant, not hesitant, but she's kind of rejecting the love that her mother's trying to force onto her, like smothering her almost. And she just wants her to back off. And then at the end of the movie, you see this acceptance and this vulnerability and this willingness to be loved, which I thought was so profound. And I was so moved by that. And I'm Italian too. So obviously I saw a lot of parallels between my own family life as well. And it just brought a really deep sense of nostalgia. And I don't know, I just fell in love when I watched it the first time. And then when I watched it the second time, it only solidified it even more. I loved it even more the second time I watched it, which I think is super rare in films. A lot of the time it's one and done, don't need to see that again. But I feel like every time I watch it, there's something new that stands out. And it's just so even on a technical level, just made so freaking well. And I think it's overall just a work of art, and I'm definitely a patron of the arts. I'm always championing the underdog, so to speak. In a nutshell, that's kind of what drew me to it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Julia. No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, our love language is energy, and Julia has given that. She's given her time and she's given her energy to the film, and that's, I don't know, that's at the end of the day like what Italians are all about. It's like, I will give you the shirt off my back, I will give you all the time in my day that I have. And I think that's also reflected in the film and the dynamics of the family.
I can feel your energy when you answered that question, Julia. So I totally understand where you're coming from. I can definitely feel the passion you had for Elise's film here. And I wanted to ask you, Elise, why was Carmen the right choice for Ren? Because she's excellent.
I think because she just understands the power of silence. She's someone who doesn't give her power away. She's not just going to fill up a room with chatter or fill up a moment with chatter. She really understands, the power of sitting back and just like letting a moment linger. When she came into the room to read for the role, I had given her one scene from the film and I didn't give her any context about the film. I didn't give her any context about the scene. And she sat down on the couch and she just like blew it away. Like she just understood all the nuances. She understood everything that wasn't being said. She understood just like the relationship between her and her brother and all the things that were like left unsaid between them. And I think that kind of understanding, and it can't be taught, it can't be like I wouldn't be able to express that to her. She just had to know it, and she knew it. And she's not a trained actor or anything, so it all came from inside. It all came from within her. And I think she just has like such a magnetic presence. You can't help but just like want to know who this girl is right from the first time you see her on screen. And she's become one of my best friends, and I love her. And I think film has the opportunity to do that. It has the opportunity to like change your life in ways that you never thought, whether you're a spectator or whether you're someone making a film. Like if you allow it to, film can teach you lessons about yourself and introduce you to people that you never thought you would meet.
I really think that there's a truth to that, and I think, and I love what you said about Carmen, because I really feel like the moments where she's at her best in this film is her responding to somebody else without saying a word. Like when there's a scene with her mother where her mother does something and she just sort of looks at, or no, the scene with her dad where her dad's watching the movie, and I love that little moment. And he just looks at her, and she doesn't do anything. She just turns, gets up, and goes and does what she has to go do. And it's those little moments that made me think back to my dad, because I'm Latino, so we're very similar to Italians in the way that we're very passionate people. We love our family. We'll do anything for them. So I saw a little bit of my family in there as well. My mother's a little bit overbearing. My father's very carefree, and just trying to make sure he gives the best life to his children. And those little moments were reflective. What I wanted to ask you about the characterization of Ren, because in the beginning she starts out very hard to like, very like an egg. There's a big shell around her, and as the movie unveils, we notice in the middle of that egg there's a soft boil. So underneath her surface, she's really just very sensitive and really just wants to be able to live her life in the way she wants to live it. But there's that hard shell that she has to maintain living the life that she wants, the way she wants to live. Can you describe trying to craft this movie and craft this character in a way where we don't initially maybe like her very much because she's kind of rude, but she has to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I have gotten the question about her likability before. I have gotten the question about her like rudeness, and I don't see her as unlikable, and I don't see her as being rude. I think she's just very truthful. She's very honest about what she wants and what she doesn't want in her life, and she's not willing to like toe the line. I think out of all the characters in the film, she's the one who knows herself the best. And she really is, to me, like the anchor of the family. She really is the one kind of, I don't know, just like moving through the world in this way that everyone else wishes they could. But like Julia said, I think the transformation that we see in her is not, the transformation of like feeling more confident in herself, like most trans stories do have that narrative. Instead, it's like learning to be vulnerable enough to accept love. I think loving someone is one thing, but choosing to allow yourself to be loved is a completely different thing. And that's kind of what we see her go through in the film. Yeah, I'll just leave it.
Which is probably one of the hardest things to do. And just to follow up what you're saying, yeah, like I don't find her like unlikable. Like, yeah, maybe she's not like your typical like people pleasing, like, whatever, but that in itself is so indicative of what she's been through in her life. Like, without like trauma dumping, you can tell that she's been through a lot, but in turn she knows who the fuck she is now because of it.
I love that
So
you're answered that way. I love that answer. You guys love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I absolutely love the way that you defended that character, because I think you're right. As I think about it now, looking at it from that perspective, yeah, I get where you're coming from on that. It's beautifully done.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys some really fun questions, because anytime I have guests, I always ask them two really fun questions. So we'll start there. Both of you are very, very dope power ladies doing your thing. Can I ask you people who inspire you to be who you are? Some people who in your life inspire you, whether that be in your family or in the professional game, whether you're an actress, producer, directing, whatever you're doing.
That's such a tough question. Louis, you
Yeah,
go first.
I'm gonna sound corny, but I do really like, I always think of my grandmother, my nonna, when I think about like women that really inspire me and women that I model myself after. She's someone who took no shit. She was like she was the matriarch of our family. She protected all of her grandkids in whatever way they needed to be protected. When I came out, she was the one who was like, I don't have a problem with this. You leave everyone to me. Um, and that kind of energy is like what I always try to bring to like my projects. I try to protect them and I try to guide them. I bring it to my friendships. I'm very protective about my friends, especially my friendships with the dolls. And I would also say the dolls really inspire me. My girls who are all like, thriving and doing their thing in their respective fields. Like, I have a friend who's a lawyer basically, and she's just like killing it. And then there's Carmen, who's killing it in her field. And Julia is an honorary doll, and I look up to her, and she's killing it in her field with her new book coming out. Like, it's just like, I think you know I think Julia said this in like an interview in Toronto, but someone had asked her about LOL muses, and muses in terms of like my work, and Julia had said like Louise is her own muse. And I think I really look up to women who are their own muses, women who aren't waiting to be found, waiting to be discovered, women who are kind of just like walking in the room and being like, I'm going to tell my own story in the way that I want to. Because I think for too long we have been waiting for people to see us, and we're tired of that, and we're done with that.
I love that answer. I
love
love
that.
that
Yeah.
answer. Julia, what you got?
I mean, I think similarly, it's like, I wish I could say it's like some celebrity or some person, but really it's just the women in my day-to-day life. And I think they give me that comfort and that warmth to know that I can be myself and I can make mistakes and I can, fumble something, but that they'll still love me. And so because of that, I feel like that gives me the courage to just keep being myself. And I think ultimately, you can really only truly be happy if you're living authentically to who you are. And so I think I've been really lucky to find women and people in my life that just accept me no matter what. And I think that's the best gift you could give someone, is just to see them for who they are and all their flaws, and still just love them unconditionally.
I love that. Women loving other women unconditionally and just being boss bitches is the coolest shit that you can ever be. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I have one more question before I have to go, and before I, sell you out. This is the hardest question I'm going to ask you. We always ask every guest, if there's two films you have to watch for the rest of your life, what two films are you picking and why?
Ooh.
Something
I mean, this
you
one's
said
a hard
last
question.
night.
Yeah. I don't know if I could watch my film for the rest of my life, but I would watch, I think, Moonstruck for the rest of my life. I think it has a lot of
Good choice.
said last night.
You get one more.
Oh my God, we get one more. Ooh, it's a tie between. No, I'm gonna go with Devil Wears Prada, honestly.
Good choice. Good choice. It's a great movie.
That is a great movie. I would
Julia?
probably, well, my all-time favorite movie is Adaptation. So I'd
I
have
love Spike
to
Jones.
go with, yeah, that's such a good movie. But, and then another one, probably like Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
So good.
You can't go wrong there. I
Yeah,
mean, they did invent the post-it
yeah.
note, so you cannot go wrong there. I love those answers. Those are great. And what I love about this question is I get so many different answers. And so thank you guys for answering it, and thank you guys for spending time with me. It's really great to speak to some people who are absolutely killing it in what they're doing. You guys really need to check out something you said last night when it does come out. And when is that release date, guys?
So it'll be we're releasing in theaters September 22nd in New York, September 29th in LA. In New York, we'll be at the Quad. In New York, in LA, we'll be at the Culver Theater, and then we'll be going to Amazon and iTunes starting October 3rd.
There you go. October 3rd. If you don't live in LA or New York, you can check the film out, and you definitely should. All my LA peeps, make sure you watch this. All my peeps in the Midwest, October 3rd, Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, Luis and Julia, thank you so much for being with me for Film Snob Reviews. We'll see you guys next time, okay?
Thank you. Bye.